Welcome to a new video for Click Beyond Sheets YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about formula syntax in Google Sheets and how to build a formula or a function correctly. In Google Sheets and most of these spreadsheet applications, there is a syntax that we have to follow in order to build a formula correctly. So the first step is, let me zoom in a little bit, to start with an equal sign. Whenever we start with an equal sign, then Google Sheets will treat it as a function or a calculation. So first we enter our equal sign so that it starts to wait for the function. After the equal sign, we have to type the function name. Let me write like this, function name. And after the name of the function, we have to open a parentheses, and inside this parentheses, we have to put the required parameters or arguments. So let's type parameters and close the parentheses. When I hit the enter key, it will give an error because there is no such a function or formula in Google Sheets. Besides the equal sign, the second rule is that the number of opening parentheses should match with the number of closing parentheses. Now we only have one function here, but in some cases we might have function inside another function, which we call it as nested functions. In this case, we will have another function, and for this function we also have to put an opening parentheses. So we type another we type the parameters for the second function, etc., and close the parentheses. Or sometimes we have another function inside this second function, so we might have yet another function, and that one also has to continue with an opening parentheses. So let's write parameters here and close the parentheses. So in this case, we have to check whether how many opening parentheses in this function. First one is this, second, and a third one. So let's check the closing parentheses. So this one is 1, 2, and we put another one so that the number of closing parentheses will be equal with the ones that we used for opening. So in this case, the function will be complete and will be intact, so that when we press the enter key, Google Sheets will handle all the functions that we typed in here. And actually there are a few exceptions to this rule. I mean, when we have a function, we can put the beginning and opening and closing parentheses without putting any arguments inside. For example, let me clean it. Function today. This one does not accept any arguments. It is not required. And when I hit the enter key, as you can see, it gives the date of the recent date. Also, there is another function now. So again, we just put the opening and closing parentheses, and this one also works. So let's make another example. Here we have a random numbers here. Suppose that we want to find the total of these numbers. In order to use the total, we use a function called sum. And as you see, when I type sum, Google Sheets started to recommend all the functions starting with sum. So when I put the opening parentheses, it is expecting me to put some arguments or parameters. Let's have a look at the help screen. Here it says that we have to put a range or numbers, comma separated numbers. So range is, let me hit escape. A range is a list of data that we combine. So in every range there is a starting cell and there's an ending cell, and when we say range, this is all the values between these starting and ending cells. So let's type the function again. Sum equals B3 here, so it's under column B, and row number is 3, B3, and colon means through. We type colon, and it's expecting to give me the last cell or the ending cell in the range, which is under column B and 12, row number 12. So we type B12. So when I hit the enter, it will give me the total of these range. As you can see, actually Google Sheet is has been smart enough to understand which range we are interested in. So when I say sum, it automatically recommends me the range. So if I hit the tab key, that will accept me the this range and automatically completes the formula for me. Besides that, if we hit this functions icon here, it gives a list of functions that is used in Google Sheets, and these 5 are the main functions used in Google Sheets. We can also find the average of this range. So again, let's click on it. So as you can see, it put an equal sign and then typed average for us, and now it's expecting to give me the values or a range. When I say values, what I mean by that is, for example, I can type in comma separated values such 5, 8, 4, 9, and 6, and let's finish that. So the average value of these numbers that we just entered manually is 6.4. Also, just like we did in the sum function, we can also, sorry, I forgot to put the equal sign. I hit the tab key again, it recommends me the range, so I hit tab key to accept it. So the average of this range is 50.5. Besides sum, we can also use another function to find how many cells in this range is filled with data. Again, I hit the enter key to find the number of the cells filled with data between B3 and B12 here. I hit the tab key to accept it, so it says 10 cells are filled with data. If we count function only counts the cells with numerical data. If we have some text or something else, like email address, etc., and in this case, for example, let me change it to text. You see, it removed the number from 10 to 9. It reduced the number, count number from 10 to 9. Let's put another text here, another text. So it now reduced to 8. If we would like to count the cells filled with text, not only numbers, then we use another function, which is COUNTA. And again, it gives a recommendation for us, so we accept it. Now you see it is 10. So if I replace this text with a number, count function, let's insert the column here. This is count and numbers only. Let me adjust the rows column size, and this is count let's say everything. So if I change it to number again, like this, you see count function starts to count this, and because it is a numerical value, it increased the text. Increased the counting from 9 to 10, but COUNTA didn't change because, as I said, it counts both numbers and text. From the most commonly used functions, we have also max and min. As the name suggests, max brings the highest value in a range. So we simply click and highlight the range, and it says 73 is the highest value. Also, we can find the minimum value. Let's type equal sign, and then after the equal sign we type min. Hit enter key to start with the opening parentheses. Again, I highlight the range and close it with the parentheses, and 8 is the minimum value in this range. So let's also find out the total of sales for each item and in each row. And in order to do that, first and as always, we start with an equal sign, then we make our calculation. So 90, which is the unit sold for pencil at row 2, times 1.99, which is the unit price. So we find the total for this row for the sales of 90 units of pencils at $1.99. Well, although this calculation is correct, there is nothing wrong with it here, but there is a very huge drawback or disadvantage or a problem for us, because when I change this number from 90 to 80, this one does not change. Although the total of 80 units from 1.99 should be 159.2. However, we still see 179.10. So instead of hard coding the numbers, just like we are using a calculator, what we can do is we can refer to the cell reference, so that if there is a change in one of these, that it will be updated automatically. So instead of writing these hard-coded numbers, I double click and go inside the cell again, and instead of 90, I type column C and row number 2. So C2, which will already bring the number residing in this C2 cell, and for 1.99, I will type D2. So now we have the same result that we did here. The another advantage of using this formulation, instead of hard coding we put the cell references. Remember from our previous video, we can also expand the formula to other cells by dragging down. So when I drag down, as you can see, we can have the same formula for each row. If we double click on it, as you can see, Google Sheets will mark the cells mentioned or stated in the formula cell here. So this cell has the function formulation from C2 and D2. Hit escape and come to this one. As you can see, this cell has the values for multiplication from C4 and D4. This one also has the values from C10 and D10. That way we can correctly expand the data, expand the formula to all the cells in the column. Also, let me show you one more thing. Here in this table, actually we have 44 4 rows and excluding the headers, we have 43 rows of data, right? So I want to autofill this formulation here for all cells. When I come to the bottom right of this cell, and when the mouse icon takes this shape, I just simply double click on it and it copies this formula all the way down to the last row of this data set. So we have the formula here, as you can see. These cells are marked again, or here these cells are marked. So we correctly copy the formula from this top cell. So instead of writing formula in each cell or in each row, we simply double click on it. The only thing that we have to be careful about this autofilling feature in Google Sheets, these cells should be empty. Otherwise, it will not copy the formula from the top cell up to bottom of the data set. So that's why this range should be empty, and then we double click here, and we can autofill this formula to all cells in under column E. So that should be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.